Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you about owning a small business, and specifically, is it right for you? Now, these are based completely on my own experiences and from my friends who also run small businesses, and some of them who run big businesses as well. Now, I understand not every business fits into this model. There are some businesses that you can't go from hobby, side hustle, full-time business. There's some that you can't do that. You have to just go 100% all the way, and that's not the businesses that I'm talking about. I'm talking about my experience going from hobbyist woodworker, side hustle woodworker, full-time woodworker, and we're going to see if this is a good fit for you and where you should lie in those if you have that kind of hobby that you're interested in making money in. The first question is, do you even want to make money off of your hobby? Do you want to involve the sell of your work, and in my case, my woodwork? With that, as soon as you decide that you're going to take a hobby and you're going to start selling it, you immediately get tied to things you don't want to do. As soon as you start selling it, you're immediately tied to taxes, for one. And that, I don't know anybody who likes doing taxes. I don't even know if accountants like doing taxes. So anyways, that's something that you're going to have to do as you are getting into this whole thing of selling your woodwork if you want to stay legal. Also, when you're doing your hobby as a job, you start to get committed to it when you give someone your word that you're going to give them a product on time or something like that. And when you're doing a hobby or a side hustle or even a business that's full time for yourself, you have to have very good boundaries with your clients and with your work and with your family. It's a very common time for people to get divorced when they are trying to start a business, and when they're trying to make more money. It's a very easy thing to just let go crazy, and then your family life falls to pieces. So have good boundaries. Make sure you're taking enough time for your family and it's not getting out of order. Some people, say, hey, and I agree that you can, if you have to work 12 hours a day, you can do that for like a year, and your family to be in an understanding place about that. But once it starts to go beyond that and becomes a norm, that's not good, and that's not a sustainable way to live. So make sure you're keeping your family health and your physical health in priority when you're considering this. And that would be a negative involved with selling your hobby at all. You might really enjoy building things for yourself that you maybe couldn't afford to get someone custom make it, but let's say you and your wife could both come out, or you and your kids could both come out and build these things together and have a good experience. And you can actually save money doing that if you're frugal with your tool choices. And so just doing it as a hobby can be a great blessing to you, and don't feel like you need to get steered into selling your stuff for money if you don't need to, because you can have a great time just building stuff as a hobby and keeping it for yourself, giving it to friends and family for gifts. If you are thinking that you want to get into selling your work for money, that's what this is going to be about. What are the differences between a side hustle and a full-time business, and what does that look like for you? Because at some point in time, you need to decide which way you're going to go. With a side hustle, once you start that, you need to have in mind your goal of, I think I might want to do this more, and so that's going to affect your tool choices. That's going to affect your business decisions, how you set up your workflow and how you price it. So it's good to have an idea early whether you think you're going to do this as a side hustle or whether you think you're going to want to do this full time. So when you're doing this as a side hustle, some of the benefits are obvious, that you don't have to rely on this money. It's just the gravy on top, right? And that is a lot less stress. And it's not and it doesn't mean that you're putting out bad products. It just means that if your regular job isn't too stressful, then that can be a great benefit for you to just do this on the side. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the pros of having a side hustle instead of a full-time business. One of them being your bills are paid from another job, and that relieves a lot of stress. It gives you a lot of freedom to come and build what you want. So you can come in here and say, hey, I just really like making pens, or I really like making cutting board, or I really want to make tables or just chairs. And you can do that with the ease, and without the stress of I have to build what's going to sell fastest and the most because I need to rely on it. So there's a lot more freedom and a lot more, I guess you'd say, happiness a lot of the times when it just comes to the product of doing it as a side hustle opposed to a full-time business. Now, saying that there's less stress in a side hustle is obviously assuming that your main job doesn't already give you so much stress. If you're at the place right now that your main job is so stressful that you're just looking for anything to get you out of the main job that's causing you stress, I would not suggest starting your own business right now. I would suggest you finding another job that doesn't stress you out, because a full-time business is not going to be probably better on stress, and it takes a long time to get ready for that. A lot of prep. One more benefit of having a side hustle is you have flexibility over the tasks that you do and don't want to do. So for me, as an example, as a professional cabinet and furniture maker, I have no choice that I have to deliver and install these products. Now, that might come to a difference in time where I can hire someone to do that, but it's a task that needs to be done. And I have no way around that. So I have become a professional mover, because for people to get my product, I have to deliver it to them safely, and if I ding it, I gotta fix it. So I have to be a professional mover. And there's a lot of other tasks that comes along that, like with painting, you have to be very good at tax prep. There's a lot of things in these things, in doing it as a full-time business, that you won't have to do if you're as a hobby and as a side hustle. You can say, hey, I just want to build cutting boards, and that way I don't have to deal with painting and a spray booth, and I don't have to deal with delivery. I can just ship it off to somebody. You just have so much more flexibility and ease of life when it comes to being able to opt out of the things you don't want to do. Another thing is you have less risk. So with that, and I'll talk about this more, about one of the cons of having a full-time business, is your hourly operating cost. So with your side hustle, you should have an hourly required operating cost of 0. You should not be relying on it at all. You should have 100% of your bills paid with your main job is what I would suggest if you're just doing it as a side hustle. So with that, you have a lot less risk on it, and again, it's going to make your shop time more enjoyable. Another thing about a side hustle is it takes a lot less time investment than a full-time business. I would say that a side hustle is step 1. And then if you wanted to continue to step 2, which is a full-time business, the side hustle period, you can really start a hobby, and within 3 months, if you're passionate and you're good at it, you can start selling your work. That's not the case with a full-time business. It takes a lot more learning to be able to get to that place. Another benefit of a side hustle over a full-time job is a lot less space and tooling required. So you can just have a little corner of your garage and get a little niche with your hobby, and you don't need a huge space investment. I've actually seen people in like condos in New York who literally just have tile or hardwood floors, and they convert one of their bedrooms, half of their bedrooms, into a little woodworking space. And they just make sure they be very clean about it. So you don't need a lot of space if you're going to be doing it as a side hustle or a hobby. Another benefit is you don't have to be as organized or even charge as much money. So in general, this whole side hustle thing over a full-time business, a lot less stress. You're going to enjoy your hobby more. You're going to have a lot more freedom over how you build and what your time looks like. And that's not a bad thing. I have multiple friends who are fantastic woodworkers, but one of them is a farmer, he has his main job paid with farming, and as a side business, he builds cabinets. And he gets paid good money for his cabinetry and his cabinets, which he does as a side hustle. That's his vacation money, if you want to put some extra into investments or something. So it's not a negative in any way to say, I just want to do this as a side hustle and not rely on it for my main income. And I have another friend who's a doctor, and he does his own hobbyist woodworking. And then if he wants to sell some of his woodwork occasionally, then he will, and he enjoys his life woodworking and has a good life. So if you're considering having a side hustle, there's no insult with it, and you can have a great life, and your side hustle can be a big benefit to your life. It doesn't mean that you're going to do crappy work, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to make a lot of money with your side hustle. Now, if you want to take this into a full-time business, all of these rules really, and all the stress, they come from one thing, and that is your daily, or more, actually it's more like your hourly operating cost. So when you are running a business, you have a cost to literally keep the lights turned on, to pay yourself, to take care of your taxes, to take care of the tooling required to keep the shop functioning. So there's an hourly cost which is burned up every hour, and it's just gone. And for you to actually make a profitable, for you to actually make a profitable business, you actually need to make more than that money. And anything over that is your profit margin. And anybody who is making a profit, a good profit on their business, over and beyond their operating cost, their hourly operating cost, is doing a good job. It's very hard, and a lot of businesses fail because they cannot get that hourly operating cost plus their margin. So it's very difficult. Anyone who's doing it should be someone that you can learn from. So if you were super frugal, and you got your housing, your pay as low as you can possibly get it, your overhead as low as you can possibly get it, you would be lucky, at least in California where I'm at, you're going to be lucky to get it close to $20 an hour. So that means your taxes, your own pay, your lights for functioning in your vehicles, and your maintenance of your tooling can all be for $20 an hour. That's tough. But that should be like your goal, to get your hourly operating costs super low, so that you can get past these super rough years when you start your business. Anytime when you start a business, you can expect 1 to 3 years of near starting. And that's standard for me and for a lot of my friends who started a business. There's a very difficult time period when you're starting your business, where you're starving and overworked. If you're going to be successful. And if you don't do that, if you say, I'm not going to do that, I don't want to starve, and I don't want to work a lot when I first start the business, well, you're probably never going to get past that, and it's just never going to take off, unfortunately. So a lot more stress because of that daily operating cost, hourly operating cost, in fact. You have to be flexible and adaptable and do things you don't want to do. I had to learn to be a great painter, and I didn't get into woodworking to be a good painter. I didn't get into woodworking to be a professional mover, and I did not get into woodworking to be an accountant. I've had to be all of those things because I'm forced to, because I'm going to run my business. And if you're someone who says, I don't want to do those things, operating your own business really isn't for you. If you're going to be operating your own business, you really need to be flexible and adaptable to read the changes that are coming to your business, and for you to change yourself to fit into. You might start your business saying, I want to do cabinets. And then once your business takes off, you might be getting jobs, chairs, tables. And it might turn out that you're good at it, you're making good money at it, but you're never really making money in cabinetry. For sake of your business, you either need to make the cabinetry as profitable as the tables, or you need to stick with the tables. You need to be okay acquiring new skills, and you need to also be okay talking about very uncomfortable topics. You need to be comfortable calmly and respectfully demanding what people are going to pay you, what you're willing to pay someone else. And you're also going to need to be very comfortable telling people, sorry, I can't help you. I know you're screwed. I know you're in trouble. Good luck. Yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry. Can't help you on that one. Really just saying it's not my problem. There's a lot of uncomfortable topics you're going to have to do as a business owner. And not only that, you're going to need to have a strategy of how you're going to consistently gain work. That alone, you can write books about just how you gain work. You need a strategy of how you're going to consistently gain and grow and keep your customers and keep them happy. Well, there's a lot more risk, and you need to live incredibly frugally to make it through those really meager years, hard-working years. So what I would say, guys, it's not for everybody, and that's okay. Especially, let's say, if you have kids and you have a wife and kids, and you guys really don't feel like that fits in your life to go through nearly starving for a couple of years, and just for a gamble of whether or not you make it. It's a tough road. What I would suggest as the most optimal path for your success is actually not going this path of hobbyist, side hustle, full-time job. What I would actually suggest as your most likely chance for success is to go get hired by an expert who's already working and doing a good job. If you want to own a cabinet shop, go get hired from a cabinet shop with people who are doing quality work. Learn from them, and hopefully, if they're comfortable with that, even letting them know, hey, my end goal, I want to own my own cabinet shop one day. And so you're not stabbing them in the back if they don't know that. Go ahead, make friends. You're going to need a team for you to become a successful business owner in time. You need good people around you, and you need mentors. Find other businessmen who have done it, who've succeeded and have gone through that tough time, and you can bounce ideas by them, and that you agree with their business philosophies. And if you do that, yes, the money that you make in your own full-time business can be greater than what you could do in a side hustle or working for someone else. But don't underestimate the possibility of working for someone else. There's no insult, and sometimes you might make way more money working for somebody else who already has a bigger established team than you would for yourself. So no insult in working for someone else, no insult for working for yourself. Play your options, and I don't think owning a full-time business is right for everybody. Thanks for stopping in. I know this is a lot of information to get thrown at you at one time, but hopefully you picked up something that you can use that would help you with your decision to see if this was right for you. Thanks, guys, and have a good day.